Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Shabakatah, Yahweh Shema Atham Bashim Shah. This preaching officer 500 Matham Yad out of I.S.U.P.K, star out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York, at the commander during YAHANNA. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969. The truth being that the blacks, Latinos, and the Native American Indians are God's chosen people, and that the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. And so today we're going to be going into, a few things. The main thing is, how we see that's popular now with the skit that Drewski made about how the churches are, hypocritical. The churches are basically a joke. Churches are nothing but jokes, man. They've been making, criticizing and making, jokes about them for like decades. You understand? Because anybody with, anybody that has two eyes can see that the church ain't for the people. Anybody with two eyes can see that they are doing way better off than the people that they helping. Why? It's because, they not really there for the Lord's work. What's the Lord's work? What does the Lord's work consist of? The Lord's work consists of taking care of the people. How do you do that? What's the specifics with that? What Commander Jerry Hanna brought out last Monday was heavy. Taking care of the people, and which is basically feeding them and protecting them. That's what you have to do. You know what I mean? But the church don't do that. You know what I'm saying? The church does not do that because it's never been their MO. It's never been, your pastor's MO to be for the people. You understand? And he'll do whatever he can to get people to come in and pay all the so-called tithes and stuff like that and the donations that they could, but they are not there genuinely for the people so they can get better. All right. People supposed to go in the church and getting changed and being better. And the thing is, they go in there and they stay the same. No, at more so, they go in there and they get worse. You know what I'm saying? Some people go in there and they, have a problem with whatever it is, whatever it could be. But the point is to go in there and change, but they're not changing in there. Why? Because the pastor is actually allowing the sin to take place in there. And he's allowing everybody to just be in their sin. Because why? What does he say? He says what? God loves you no matter what you do. God loves you no matter what you say, whatever sin you commit. Jesus knows your heart. When that is a lie, man. All these lies that the church has brought forth in the earth. I'm glad Drewski put the skit out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go into some precepts about it. I got a couple precepts. We're gonna go to, first off, I'm gonna go to Exodus chapter 3. No, Salaki. Chapter 15, verse 3. All right, I'm going to read right quick. It says, Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. The Most High is a man of war. First off, a man. You understand? He's a man of war. He's not your mom. He's not your, your auntie or your grandmama that lets you get away with things. That allows you to get away with sin, allows you to get away with misconduct, allows you to do all that. He's not any of that, man. He's our father. That's what Christ described him as. It's a perfect way. It's one of the, it's the perfect way to look at the Most High as your father, as our father. You understand? Any good father, what does a father do? He will discipline his child or children if they disobey him or if they're acting in a way that's, not up to his standard of what he like their children to behave like. You understand? What we've been doing, blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, being the children of the Most High, we've been disobeying the Most High. We've been disobeying the Lord. So how does that look? How does the punishment, how does the chastisement look like? Having the Lord being our father, us being in slavery, us being in chains, us going through 1492. You understand? Us going through the Trail of Tears, the Native Americans going through the Trail of Tears. You understand? That's how the chastisement and the punishments look like from the Most High. You understand? When we go through all these things, and why we suffer the most on this planet right now, you understand why we suffer the most is because we disobeyed our Father. It's because the Lord seen us and was like, all right, y'all not going to listen. Y'all not going to behave. Y'all not going to do what I told you to do. You're not going to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments that I told you to keep. All right, then no sweat. He gave us punishments. And those are the punishments, the same punishments that's written in the book of Deuteronomy. You know what I mean? And it's a heavy thing to think about too, how the small hats, they like to claim they the real Jews or they the real Israelites. Or, they call themselves Israelis. You understand? They call themselves that for a reason. They know they're not the real Israelites. All right. But they would like to think that they the real Jews. They can't be, and they shouldn't. They know this because they don't receive or go through any of the curses. They don't have any of the curses on their people right now. You understand? How do we know that? Look at what they own. They own damn near virtually everything. They own everything, run everything, and charge everything, behind the scenes of everything. Hell, they just got caught in a scandal sometime last year where they had underground tunnels with baby seats, bloody baby seats, and bloody mattresses. You understand? That's what they just had going on. And how many arrests were made? Or did they really did they get in any real trouble? Did they have to go through anything after that? Was there any justice served? Did we find out why there was blood on the baby mattresses and blood on the baby car seats? Did we find any of those things out? No, because who's gonna tell them what to do? They in the power right now. You understand? They don't receive any of these curses. They don't fit any of the curses at all. You understand? They own the Diamond District. You understand? They own the Diamond District. They on top of everything right now. So they can never fit the curses. Therefore, they can never be the Jews. They can never be the Israelites. All right. You know what I mean? And these are the same curses that we fall under because we are, in bondage. We are under these things right here. I'm going to read some right now, actually, since we're on the topic. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, meaning we'll listen, if we choose to listen to the Most High, it says, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. See, now the Most High said he will set us above all nations. What does the word nation mean? It means races. It's talking about different nationalities, different ethnicities. He's saying he will put us above all nations. You know what I'm saying? Making us the better of the, the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? Better than every single nation. If we chose to listen to him. But, we know how the history went. We chose not to, and we've seen what happened. All right, but we're going to get into more details in these scripts. All right, let's get some more. It says, I'm going to skip down a verse. Bear with me. Because this whole chapter is filled with, like, good things to read. Let me see. I'll go to verse 15. All right. So verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So it's saying if we don't listen. Because so now this verse right here is talking about what he would do if we do not listen. All right. We read what will happen if we do listen. We read that already, right? It said we will be the Most High was going to put us above all nations. That's what he said he would do for us if we decided to listen to him. Hearken. All right. So now verse 15 is going to say what he going to do to us, allow to happen to us if we decided to disobey him. And he's going to get into it right now. We about to read. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now he's saying, man, we're going to overcome. We're going to have to, suffer these curses. We're going to have to suffer these curses that's going to come our way if we decided to disobey. All right, let's read what some of them curses were. Cursed thou shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. You know what I mean? We are slaving to this day. We're slaving in the offices, in them, in them offices we working in. You understand? No matter where you at, brothers playing in the NBA, you know what I'm saying? Basketball, professional basketball. They $1 million slaves out there. You understand? Hell, Kanye West, he was a billionaire like what, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago? He was a billionaire, but then told the truth, decided to tell the truth and say, well, no, I think, black people are the real Jews. And the white man took all his money, damn near half his money. You understand? And it's a repercussion. It shows like it's almost like we can't tell the truth. You understand? We can't tell the truth. The truth can't be said. You know what I mean? If you do that, we're gonna punish you. You understand? That's like we are slaves here. No matter how much money you make, you know what I mean, in this slavery, in this hellhole called America, you're a slave no matter what. All right. But the difference is you don't have to be slave minded. You know what I mean? You could tell that, you could just like with brothers like that Don Lemon. Don Lemon, who else? It's a lot of brothers out there, you know what I mean, that cater to, hence all your pastors too, your Christian pastors, a lot of them people, you know what I mean, slave minded, you know what I mean, just willing without no pushback to just bow down to whatever the oppressor pushes on us. Without a fight and none of that, he's good with whatever the oppressor wants. All right. So that's being in the slave mind. You don't have to have the slave mentality. All right. So let me get some more. It says, curse shalt thou be in the city, and curse shalt thou be in the field. You know what I mean? Ain't a lot of black farmers out there, and the black farmers that are out there are getting treated, you know what I mean, dishonorably out there, being wronged. You know what I'm saying? The white farmers are getting a lot more benefits, and you know what I mean, they're getting less tampered with by the government, you understand, than us that are farming. You understand? Outside of brothers in the UPK. Brothers in the UPK, we got ranches and all that, you know what I'm saying? But outside of us, you know what I mean, there's brothers out there that's really getting, you know what I mean, just treated unfairly. Just like we get treated unfairly everywhere we go. You understand? We gonna get some more with this though. Let me get some more. I'm gonna drop down to verse. Yeah. Get some more. Boom, boom, boom. Go to verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. He's going to smite us with madness. With madness. Y'all ever seen brothers out there that, you know what I mean, talking to themselves, walking around talking to themselves, you know what I mean, or, you know, just got something going on with them? That's because of the hell of this place. They're victims of this place called America. You know what I mean? They're victims of white supremacy. They're victims of it, and you know what I mean? That's the outcome right there. That's the symptoms to the problem, to the disease that they have. You know what I mean? Called oppression. You know what I mean? Called oppression. And who's oppressing us? You know what I mean? That same man that evicts you out your home when you can't pay, when you $100, you short $100 or short $10. You understand? The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The more we understand that and really comprehend that, you know what I mean, we can do a lot better. You understand? Shout out to Commander YAHANNA. Because yesterday he was going in on how the black family structure can be better. How it can be better because you know what I mean, the stats came out. He brought the stats out and everything about how black women are, you know what I mean, aborting babies. He made a statement before that. Talking about how black women are the biggest recruiters of gang members. You understand? And that is nothing but the truth because it's evident. You know what I mean? You could be mad at it all you want. But the point of bringing that out, that black women are the biggest recruiters of gang members is to change it. That's the point of it. The point ain't to try to bash nobody. The point is we got to take this constructive criticism. This falls not only on black women, and Latino women. It falls on all of us as a conglomerate. You know what I mean? As a nation, it falls on all of us. You know what I mean? The men that choose to stand up and fight for this nation, to speak up for this nation, do the job that your pastor won't do the job that your imam won't do, which is to fight for black people and to tell the truth, even when it's inconvenient for them, even when it means some people gonna hate you. We are going to do the job. The I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We're going to do this job. All right. And that means we're going to tell the truth and we're going to lay down the harsh realities of what we have, the harsh realities that we live in and that we have to face. We have to face the fact that we are aborting our babies, or women are killing our babies, or unaliving our babies in them abortion clinics. You know what I mean? Mass genocide on us, man. We can't go forth, you know what I mean, with a thriving, healthy nation, you know what I mean, always, you know, in them clinics, unaliving your baby, unaliving your child. So he brought out a point like, you know what I mean, imagine if we said, we're not going to, you know, this year, we're not going to go, we're not aborting no babies. We're not aborting no babies this year. We're going to keep all of our babies. We're going to have all our babies this year. You know what I mean? We're going to try and see what happens. We're going to stop unaliving one another. We're going all the differences and disagreements we have within our nation towards one another. We're going to put it aside for the sake of, you know what I mean, us living, basically. Us living and having a better predicament, having a better lifestyle. You know what I mean, having a better situation for as far as our community is concerned. You know what I mean? For this year, we ain't gonna sleep with another brother's woman. You know what I mean? Our sisters out there, you know what? This time around, this year, we gonna stop being whores. We gonna listen to our man. You know what I mean? We gonna you know, teach our children to how to pick the right, you know what I mean, to pick the right man. You understand? The father should always be the one to pick for, you know what I mean, his daughter on who she gonna marry. You know what I mean? Without that, we got our women out here just hoeing out of both draw legs anytime she could. So that's why it's important to have you know what I mean, a solid foundation for, you know what I mean, the Black and Latina households. You know what I mean? So let me get some more about what I was reading. And with blindness and with astonishment of heart. Salaki. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. You know what I mean? That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? All throughout the Christian church. Throughout the Christian church, whole house. The biggest whore house is the Christian church. You know what I mean? You going up in there, everybody sleeping with everybody in that church. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean, this is what goes on with us that we could change. You know what I mean? Because this again, this battle, like, you know how some people out there, like, you know, I'm seeing videos out there with you know what I mean, the Black Panthers and whatever, right? Black Panthers out there, or some black people, Black Panther break-offs and whatever the fact may be. You know what I mean? Is the truth of the matter is you ain't gonna get nowhere. You're not gonna raise a nation. You're not gonna help the nation. You're not gonna help black people by standing on the street with your guns and all that, showing, you know what I mean, just, you know, having your guns out in the open and all that, and telling police, no, it's legal to do, you know what I mean? It ain't, that ain't helping the nation. That ain't helping black people. That ain't gonna put food in nobody's mouth. That ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna do anything. All right, it's vain. You understand? This is vanity. You're not gonna be able to do anything, and you're not going, definitely not gonna win a war off of that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you straight up right now. You know what I mean? You're not gonna win without the Lord. Excuse me. You're not gonna win without the Most High on your side. Without the Most High being on your side, you can have all the weaponry you want. You know what I mean? But with the Lord on your side, you definitely gonna get something done. You definitely gonna make a dent in the things you need to do. You know what I mean? The work that you have in front of you. But as long as you don't have him, have the Most High with you, you don't do what he say. You don't even have the Most High. You don't even have God on your mind. You don't even have being righteous in your mental. You know what I mean? In your spirit. You want to do what you want to do. You're not going to get anywhere. You understand? The Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge. You know what I mean? What we do, what we've been doing since 1969 is putting the Most High first. And I know within the black community, we love to say it. We love to say we like to keep the Most High first, but we don't do it. We love to say that, you know what I mean, we love God, we love the Most High, but we don't do anything he says. You understand? So that's why the Lord, you know what I mean, might sometimes show us, man, he ain't with some of the things that we do, that we like to do. You understand? So that's why we got to get back to the you know what I mean, to the Most High law, statutes, and commandments, because you see it's evident with us. And here, what we do, well, we have food drives, feeding people every day. You know what I'm saying? Feeding our brothers, sisters, even feeding heathen, even feeding the heathen out there. And why we feed them? Because we are better than our oppressors. We're better than them. They don't want to feed us. They don't want. They want to. They want to take money and food stamps away from us. They want to do unfair things to us. You understand? We're gonna how about this, we go out there and we feed everybody who's less fortunate and wants something to eat. We feed y'all. You know what I mean? No matter who you are, because we're better than our oppressors. We will be better rulers than them. You know what I mean? They rule the earth right now. You understand? They doing a terrible job at it, might I add. They doing a horrendous job at ruling the planet, being overlords right now. And I think like what 12 Shield General Hyman be saying all the time is, we might, you know, I mean, they might just need a better ruler. They might need somebody to look up to, or some inspiration from better people that can have a that could do the job better than they can, at being an overlord better than they can. Because, you know what I mean, nobody knows the soil and the earth's soil, and you know what I mean, how to harvest things better than a Mexican brother. You know what I mean? They know the earth more than the earth know itself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We should be over them. We should be over them because we're better than them. You understand? They like to call our brothers, you know what I mean? They like to call our brothers illegal immigrants. They like to do that. But not knowing that, you know what I'm saying, y'all don't come from here. You come from another land. You know what I'm saying? You actually come from, you know what I mean, the British, and you didn't like how y'all was treated over there. So you went and split it from them and, you know, came here. You know what I'm saying? And started this up over here. You know what I mean? When there was people here already here before you, but you decided to just murder, like unalive, unrighteously unaliving brothers and sisters out here, you know, that was already here, you know what I mean, and start up something different. When in fact, you know what I mean, you the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? That was prophecy written right there. You know what I mean? Because in the scriptures it says he come from afar, and that's what I'm about to read right now. We get into it. It's in the same chapter. I'm gonna just read up some more. Let me see. It's in the same chapter. We gonna just keep reading along though. All right. So verse 48. And Salaki. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. You know what I mean? This is some of the curses. We still going over the curses. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. This is what will happen to us, man. Everybody familiar with the yokes that they had around our neck around that time? Even the ones where they had us in the single file line, where they had the certain yokes, the iron yokes that they had, where it connects to the other one. It connects to the other one in front of them. So say somebody in front of them, it connects around the yoke that's on their neck. You know what I'm saying? Where they had us like we was cattle, basically, to them. You understand? And this is like this is the curses that we were under. Let me get some more. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst. You know what I mean? Starving us to death. We was eating out of hog troughs. You know what I mean? That's how they fed us. That's how they fed us. We had to eat face first out of hog troughs. Eating gruel and all that. You know what I mean? General Muhammad brings out a lot too on how his grandmother had to, you know what I mean, put his face in a laughing barrel. So I could put her face in a laughing barrel. You know what I mean? And what those are is, you know what I mean, to give context, back in her time, you know what I mean, and when you in certain cities and you downtown, the oppressors didn't want to see us laughing. They didn't want to see us in a good mood. They didn't want to see us having a good time. So if we if we had to laugh for whatever reason, right? We had to laugh. We would have to find a barrel somewhere, run to it, and laugh in that barrel. You know what I mean? We had to go put our face in the barrel and laugh. You know what I mean? So we couldn't even, you know what I mean, have regular human emotions around oppressors. You understand? They wanted us to be miserable and sad and, you know what I mean, all that stuff. They hated to see us happy. They hated to see us in a good mood. You know what I mean? That's a heavy point. I always think about that. Is like, dang, you know what I mean? Their hatred runs real deep. It runs so deep, you know what I mean, that they do, it's 100 million things that they done to us that we don't even know about yet. You know what I mean? That comes out like damn near every day. Something else is coming out on how they did this and how they did that. You understand? Let me read some more. Verse 49. The Lord shall bring thee, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle fly. You know what I mean? One nation from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle fly. What was I just talking about? Talking about how, you know what I mean? Talking about how them people over there, or them oppressors, are trying to get away from the British. They got away from the British and they came and, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? They came down here and, you know what I mean? They did what they did. Just rape, pillage, and, you know what I mean, unalived everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's just what they did. They did that, and they gonna pay for what they did too. I know that a lot of them think that, you know what I mean, a lot of my white friends out there, they'll think, you know what I mean, you got away with it. You know what I mean, your ancestors got away with it. Think y'all not gonna have to pay for any of that. You know what I'm saying? I would like to ask you, you know what I mean, did your ancestors, did they pay for it? And you would say no. You would say no, they did not pay for it. And then, you know what I mean, well, who should pay for it? They might think they shouldn't pay for it, but I got bad news for you. You have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. That's like anything though. That's like anything. Here in America, if somebody has a debt to pay, you know what I mean, and then that person dies, that person that has to pay the debt dies, guess who that falls on? It falls on the son, the first offspring. It falls on him that he will have to pay that debt off. You know what I mean? It's the same here. The same here. There's precepts on it in the Bible too. It's not just my words. We're gonna grab the precept too, real quick, and I'm gonna bounce back to where I'm at now. All right, so just bear with me a second. You're gonna meet me in Isaiah. I'm just trying to grab it real quick. Bear with me. Okay. All right. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. So the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 21. All right, we're gonna read. It says, prepare slaughter for his children. Like, for who? Like, what does it say? It says, for his children. Speaking about whose children is it talking about? Speaking about George Washington's babies, his sons, his great grandsons, and all that. You know what I mean? Abraham Lincoln's sons. You understand? The founding fathers' sons, Andrew Jackson's sons. You understand? That's who it's talking about. You know what I mean? Y'all raped, pillaged, and robbed and unalived everybody and think you got nothing to do. You think your hands is squeaky clean off of that and you don't got anything to do with it. You don't have to pay nothing. Nah, you're going to have to pay. And the Lord says it. Ain't my words. You have to pay with what? You're going to have to pay with your life because you didn't basically, did that to the whole planet. You didn't stole all over the planet. You understand? You about to take over. You just took over Venezuela. You know what I mean? Just took over Venezuela, trying to get after that oil because they scared of BRICS. You know what I mean? They scared of that Brexit that's going on. You know what I mean? Where, you know what I mean, that petrodollar is in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So they scared of that and they want to go into Venezuela and take all the oil they can get. They're trying to keep that petrodollar alive. You understand? But guess what? This is all they might think they safe and they know what they're doing. Donald Trump might know what he's doing, might think he knows what he's doing, and he's going, just go into the path and leading America directly into World War III. All right, and what this is going to do is going to it should open up Black people, Latinos, and Native American people's eyes on what is taking place, what's truly happening on this earth. You know what I mean? Right now ain't the time to be playing. Right now ain't the time to be joking. Right now is the time to get serious about this work. It's about the time to get serious and not falling weak to worldly things. You understand? Juicy just put out a skit talking about how the church, just showing how the church is ridiculous and idiotic. You know what I mean? And hypocritical. We should know, if they hypocritical like that and we know they like that, why is it funny? Everybody laughing at it. Everybody think it's funny, which it is funny. It's hilarious. But everybody knows it's funny and hilarious. But why continue to go? Why continue to go into the churches and do what they tell you to do in them churches? If you know what they're doing is wrong, you got to leave. You got to take it upon yourself to have some integrity and leave the church. You understand? Back when back when COVID was thriving well, right? It's still around today, but back when it was really going on, right? Back during the pandemic in 2020 up to 2022, you know what I mean? Them churches, them Black churches was locking the doors on Black people, on Latino people. They was closing the doors and locking them. You know what I mean? They was trying to keep us up. They was scared to death. They wasn't thinking about the people. They wasn't. But guess who was? The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We were. We was taking care of the people in that pandemic. You understand? Let me get some more. Where we at? Okay. I'm gonna finish up the precept where I'm at. All right, verse 21 in the middle. So we read that already, right? Where it says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of, it's like for the iniquity of their fathers, for the iniquity, for the bloodshed, for the violence, you understand, that they committed against us. For what they did to us, man, you can't, there's no other way to pay but with your life. You understand? It's not me speaking, it's the Most High speaking. Ain't my words. It's the Bible. All right. So that's how you're gonna have to pay. You can't pay with, you know what I mean, you can't even do the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? Which is, give us our just due. You know what I mean? Give us our fair wage. You understand? Y'all won't do that. Y'all, Trump trying to take away food stamps. Trump sending ICE on brothers and sisters that's working. That's illegal here. That's illegal here, considered to American standards. You understand? But if someone's so-called illegal, you know what I mean, according to America's standards, right? You know what I mean, or that may be of Latino descent. Who gives a damn, for real? You know what I mean? Because they was here before you. They knew they was here. They people was here before you. You understand? They people taught you how to survive here on this land. You know what I mean? According to God, this is their land. Why? Because they was here first. You know what I mean? They was here first. So who gives a damn about all that at the end of the day? The Lord is going to be with the Latino brothers and Salaki. The Lord is going to be with the Latino brothers and sisters. He's going to be with Black people, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Because why? We are the Lord's chosen people, the Israelites, the real Israelites of the Bible. And the same ones that fit these curses. And we're going to read some more of these curses right now. All right. Go back to this precept. Well, verse 49, it says, the Lord shall bring thee, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle fly. All right, so, and it says, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is, you know what I mean? Let's get some more. Let's get some more. Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. This people was not going to regard the old people, nor show favor to the young. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what they do. If they was, you know what I mean, willing to, treat us right, our old, our weak, our feeble, you know what I'm saying? It's like our feeble, or, you know what I mean, young ones, they wouldn't be putting abortion clinics out here. They wouldn't be putting abortion clinics in our neighborhoods where we dwell at. They wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? They don't give a damn. They wouldn't be. Trump just, you know what I'm saying, had the government shut down and everything like that because of, the Democrats and all that. You know, they had their thing going on, right? But, food stamps was cut off, basically. And Trump didn't give a damn. He don't care. He sends ICE on innocent people. You know what I mean? Taskmasters on innocent people. You understand? They don't care. Ripping babies out of mothers' arms and all that. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? What the precept say? It's a nation of fierce continents. You know what I mean? With a look on their face that's like, they got a fierce face. You know what I mean? Let's get some more. It says, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. And that's, you know what I mean, ICE being deployed on Black and Latino people. You understand? That's ICE being deployed on us. And everything you see in the media. You understand? What's the name? Renee. I think her name Renee, right? Just got unalived by ICE recently. Very recently, right? She got unalived by ICE. And everybody's in the uproar about it. But you know what? How can I have sympathy for that, for her? when nobody had sympathy for my brothers when they got unalive. It was just a black man that got unalive by ICE recently too. Nobody give a damn about that. Nobody's talking about that in the news. Nobody want to say anything about that. Nobody's in an uproar about that. But they want to continue being, you know what I mean, continue having the attention on Renee, you know what I mean, that oppressor's daughter. You know what I mean? Nobody's caring for us. Nobody's caring about us, and that's the problem. And you know what? We don't need nobody to care about us. We just need the Lord to be on our side. We need the Lord to be with us, to stand with us against a cruel people, against a nation that could, you know what I mean, not give a damn about what happens to us with our babies, nothing. You understand? So that's why it's important to make sure, man, if you got a problem, man, you got a problem with smoking, it's time to put the cigarette down. You know what I'm saying? It's time to put it down. It's time now to put it down. You know what I mean? Not tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Not next week. It's time now. It's time now to put effort in to stop smoking. Smoking whatever. I don't give a damn if it's hookah or vape or whatever. It's time. The time is now to stop doing that. You know what I mean? The time is now to stop angering the Most High with our sin. You understand? This is the time we're in. All right, let's get some more. It says, verse 51. All right. No, let me skip down. Excuse me, y'all. Verse 64. All right, it says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there shalt, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get people upset too. You understand? It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee from among all people. Scatter thee among all people. The Lord scattered us all over the place. We everywhere right now. You understand? That's why and Christians get confused about the Bible. That's why you shouldn't teach it, because you're not even authorized to teach the scriptures. You understand? But they get confused where Christ talks in the New Testament saying, teach all nations, or something on the lines of that, paraphrasing it. When it says all nations, it's speaking about the brothers and the sisters that's among all nations, that are amongst all of these nations. That's on the four corners of the earth. You understand? Like, listen, like we in America now, Black people, Latino people, we here in America now, right? We also in Canada. We're also in Trinidad and Tobago. We're also in Jamaica. We like all over the Caribbean. You understand? We also where overseas in in Europe, you know, in UK and all that. We everywhere. We're scattered abroad. The Lord was not joking or playing or none of that when he said that. He said, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. That's what we are today. We scattered everywhere. South, Central America. You understand? We're all over the place. We've been scattered abroad. All right. Among all nations. So like again, among all people. All right, let's read some more. It says, from the one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there shalt serve, and there thou shalt serve other gods. Other gods. You know what I'm saying? Now, what the Most High say? Well, you know what I mean? One of the things he said, which is, I believe, one of the first things, if not the first thing, he said is to not have no other God before me. Paraphrase. You know what I mean? Can have no other God before the Lord. What do we do every day? Oh no, it's my birthday. I'm about to celebrate my birthday. I'm about to, you know what I mean, celebrate you know what I'm saying, Christmas. I'm about to celebrate Valentine's Day. I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. You understand? You understand? We do this every day. You know what I mean? Being putting gods before the Lord. You know what I mean? I'll take it even further. We in a Christian church. We in a Christian church praying and bowing to a wooden picture of a white Jesus. You understand? Praying in your head, you know what I mean? You imagining the Most High being white. You know what I mean? When he's not. You know what I'm saying? Have a wooden cross, like I said, have Christ on a wooden cross, so-called Christ, white Jesus in your church on a wooden cross. You understand? That's idol worship. That's worshiping another God. That's worshiping another God. And the Lord ain't with it. Those are idols. You understand? Those are idols. And the Muslims, Nation of Islam ain't getting away with nothing either. You know what I'm saying? They all over there worshiping the rock like it's gonna do something for you. Like the rock gonna help you and the rock gonna bless you. You know what I mean? It's idiotic. It's the stupidest thing on the earth. You know what I mean? It's the stupidest thing damn near the stupidest thing I ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Brothers out there, I don't see how brothers get caught up in it, but damn, we be getting caught up in anything nowadays. You understand? We've been getting caught up in anything for the longest, actually. You know what I mean? Historically. But like, you know what I mean? You kissing bound to a rock. That rock ain't doing nothing for you. Don't even worry about it. You could throw that rock in the river, throw it anywhere, and that rock will not cause you any harm. That rock will not grow two legs and run after you, you know what I mean, and put some spells on you, whatever you thinking, you know what I'm saying, because that rock in Mecca is fake. You know, I was like, that rock in Mecca is an idol. You understand? That rock that you keep in your home and all that, brothers and sisters mostly got stones and crystals that they keep in their drawers and all that. You know, and they dresser at home. You know what I mean? That's idol worship. That's idol worship. And the Lord does not, you know what I mean, approve of any of that. He doesn't approve of any of that. You know what I mean? Worshiping stones. Some of y'all out there still into that, you know what I mean, your sign and all that. You know what I mean? That's idol worship. Going off of, you know what I mean, the cosmos and all that. All idol worship. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't of the Lord, then you sinning. You sinning. And the Lord gonna, you know what I mean, show you in the worst way that he ain't with it. Let's get some more. It says, all right, boom, boom, boom. Right. In verse 65, it says this, right? It says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease. So like, and neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. You know what I mean? Now, when we amongst these nations, when we enslaved under these nations, we ain't gonna have no rest. We ain't gonna be rested at all. We gonna be working. We're gonna be slaving. We're gonna be in the bondage. We're gonna be in bondage, man, with no breaks. You understand? Brothers today working McDonald's and standing up 8 hours a day. You understand? Working in the factories and in the warehouse jobs, standing up 8 hours a day. You understand? Not knocking any brother or sister that works on them jobs by any means. You know what I mean? I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't none of that. But I'm just bringing the point home to how we're in slavery here in America. We're in slavery. You understand? Let's get some more. It says, and how we fit these curses, so perfectly. We fit these curses because this is what we go through every day. This is everyday life for us, for a black man, for a Latino man. You understand? A Latino man got to be afraid to go out his goddamn house every day. You know what I mean? Because he's afraid he's gonna get he's gonna get wrongfully arrested by ICE, wrongfully obtained by ICE. You understand? This is our daily life. We read right here. Let's get some more. It says, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna be in our right mind here in this place. We're not. Any brother, you know what I mean, A lot of us think we are right. A lot of us think we cool and we we fine. But really, man, brothers is out they mind right now. They out they mind. They don't know what they do, being dysfunctional. They're dysfunctional right now because of this oppression that we're in. I'm gonna read some more verse, and I'm gonna actually skip down to verse 68. All right, and this is the big boy right here. It says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships." Now, anybody know the word Egypt means bondage? Egypt is a Greek word for bondage, right? It's a Greek word for bondage. And why would the Lord say he will bring us into bondage again? You understand? Why would he say he's gonna bring us into bondage again? So what was the first time we was in bondage? In Egypt. All right. That's why they call the land of Egypt Egypt. You know what I mean? Because of because of the infamous enslavement of Black people and Latinos and Native Americans, who are really known to be the real Israelites, proven to be the real Israelites, were enslaved in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? But the real name of Egypt, you know what I'm saying, is Mizraim. Mizraim, that's their name. You understand? That's the real name of Egypt, according to the Bible. You understand? It's just called Egypt, you know what I mean, named called Egypt because of our slavery there. It was fame. That's what it's famous for. All right, so let me get some more. So it says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again." Now I was going to say another thing right here that we gotta have to think about. It says, "with ships." So who are the only people that was really brought into bondage by the way of slave ships, by the way of cargo slave ships? You understand? The Black man, the Latino man. You understand? We were brought, you know what I mean, to bondage with slave ships. All right, that was us. You know what I mean? The Latinos in 1492, way before us. You know what I mean? They seen the bottom of a slave ship way back then. You know what I mean? Then it followed suit with the you know what I mean, the other tribes. You know what I mean? With the, you know what I mean, the Northern Kingdom, what they call it. No, the Southern Kingdom. You know what I mean? Where the Negro, the West Indian, and half of the Haitians, some of the Haitians, you know what I mean, were brought in after you know what I mean, the Latino tribes were brought into slavery. You know what I mean? Blacks and Latinos are the Lord's chosen people. You know what I mean? Because we fit these curses so well. Let's get some more. It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. This place that I'm talking to you, Moses saying, this place that I'm talking to you about right now, you never gonna see it again. You ain't gonna see it again. You know what I mean? Have we been back to our hometown? No. Minus a few nuts, a couple nuts and all that want to go fly over there now and, you know what I mean, be out there right now. And plus they in trouble too right now too, because they gotta fight. They gotta to have citizenship, you gotta go over there and apply for their military, and you gotta fight for their military. You gotta serve in their military, in the Israeli military. You understand? So for the couple nuts Black people out there that want to fly over there and live there, you know what I mean? You're not supposed to do that. You understand? You're not supposed to do that. But it says right here, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We ain't gonna see that land, that our homeland. Everybody calling Africa the motherland. You know what I'm saying? That is not the motherland. We are not African. You understand? Them Africans don't love us, and I damn sure don't love them. They the ones that sold us into slavery. They sold us into bondage to the white man. You understand? We're not the same people, and they know that. You know what I mean? They call Africa the motherland. Jerusalem is the motherland. Israel is the motherland for Black people, for Latinos and Native Americans. That's our motherland. That's where we come from. You know what I mean? That's our homeland. Okay, let's get some more. It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We only gonna see it again when Christ come back, crack that sky open, and do to these devils what they deserve. You know what I'm saying? That's when we gonna see that land. He gonna put us all back in our lands, in our zones and all that. You know what I mean? And we gonna be to wild. You know what I mean? But until then, thou shalt see it no more again. Let me read some more. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. Now let's slow it down a little bit. It says sold to our enemies. Now we definitely was sold, like I was just saying. We was sold by who? The Hamites. That's the Africans' biblical name. The biblical name for the Africans are the Hamites. They sold us into slavery. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? The Arabs, they provided the ships. You understand? It was a whole business scheme that they had going on to, you know what I mean? It was an organized scheme, basically, to have us in slavery so they can get rich off of us. You know what I mean? The oppressor, you know what I mean? The oppressor did it. You know what I'm saying? He's making lots of money off of us to this day. And a lot of it he stole from us. A lot of it, you know what I mean? He got it from being the devil. Let's get some more. It said we were sold unto our enemies. Our enemies just was talking about them. Who was that? Our oppressors. You know what I mean? Their biblical name is Esau. Esau or Edom. You know what I mean? Or Idunian. You understand? That's their biblical name. It said he came out the womb red and hairy. You understand? Who else come out the womb red and hairy? I know a few people. You know what I mean? I know of people that do that. You know what I mean? Our oppressors do. Our oppressors, man. They the devil the Bible speaks of. You know what I mean? They blood show forth through their skin. You understand? That's one of the curses they got on them. You know what I'm saying? Now let's get some more. That shows that they are our enemies. Let's get some more on this, because that shows right there. And your pastor will never pull this out. Your pastor will never read this to his congregation. You know what I mean? He wants to keep them docile. He wants to keep them dumb. He wants to keep them ignorant to the fact that our oppressors, you know what I mean, the people that rule over this country right now, rule over the planet, are our enemies. The thing is, they're not going to tell you because they want to keep making money. They don't want to lose their position. You know what I mean? You don't know that your pastor is a whore. You don't know that your pastor is, you know what I'm saying, the biggest whore for the white man. You know what I'm saying? You don't know that about your pastor. But you will learn that here in the I.S.U.P.K, because we're going to tell you the truth. You understand? That's what they do. They want to deceive the people, steal all the money, stuff it in their pockets, put some cash over here for a Rolls Royce. You understand? And just thrive off the pockets, you know what I mean, off the wealth that the black community doesn't have. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean, just you know what I mean, just leech on us, basically. All right. And they're not going to tell you that they are our enemies. That's one thing we have to know. We don't know who our enemies are. We think we are worst enemies, right? We think we got beef with brothers and all that, you know what I mean? Beef with other brothers, and we think it's a big effing deal. You know what I mean? Like the world got to stop for this because this brother did this to me, you know what I'm saying? But we don't give the same energy towards our oppressors. You know what I mean? You know, we don't do that. We, you know what I mean, brothers, you know, kind of, what's the right word for it? Get basically, how can you say it? I want to say, for the lack of better words, domesticated when police come around, you know what I mean, or when the white man come into the equation, you know what I mean. They get domesticated and all like, oh, what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Because we have an honor and respect for someone that's in power, but we don't know that they are our enemies. You understand? And the more we know that, we can move forward in the right direction as a nation. And that's what we've been saying since 1969 in the I.S.U.P.K, that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. He's our enemy. You know what I mean? Not us, not each other. You understand? That's why it's important that we have brotherhood. It's important that we have sisterhood within our nation. You understand? A black man shouldn't be hating another black man. And if you do have a problem, if you do have an alt with a brother, you talk to him on one-on-one to the side. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all bring it, y'all talk about, hey brother, man, you did this, man. I wasn't feeling this, man. And you know what I mean? I ain't like that you did that. And you could say, oh man, brother, you know what I mean? I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. Or, you know what I'm saying? But if he doesn't hear you, then there's further steps you could take after that. But it's not going to lead to you killing another black man. It's not going to lead to you unaliving. I should have said unaliving. It's not going to lead to you unaliving another black man, another black man, another Latino man. It's not going to lead to that. You know what I mean? That's why we got to understand who our enemies are. That's our enemy. They're our oppressors, man. Let me get some more. It says, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. For y'all Pan African niggas out there that, you know what I mean, love Africa so much, how come the Africans didn't say anything on our behalf since we've been here? Since y'all want to be African so bad, how come the Africans ain't say nothing to us or for us since we been over here? You know what I mean? Answer me that. Why haven't they sent any ships over here and try to fight against our oppressors right now or since we've been here? Because no man shall buy us. No man. So like, what it say? Yeah. And no man shall buy you. No man gonna come to our rescue. Nobody gonna save us. You know what I mean? How do we get out of this hell? How do we get out of this oppression, this slavery? We gotta fight ourselves. Meaning we gotta fight your flesh. You know what I mean? Something is in you to where you wanna go sleep with another man's woman. You wanna go you know what I mean, sell drugs to your people. You know what I mean? Just so you can make a couple dollars or whatever like that. You know what I mean? And eat. You know what I mean? I'd rather starve than destroy a family out of my community. You know what I mean? Than to tear my community down by drugging them, by committing chemical warfare against our brothers. You know what I'm saying? You helping the white man do his job. His job is to unalive and take us out. But you selling drugs and all that to your people, you helping them do his job. And you don't care, do you? And that's the problem. You understand? Like, you know, it's a fight within ourselves that we have to take up and take serious. We ain't gonna get nowhere unless we do that. We gotta look within ourselves. We've been telling you Christmas is idol worship. We've been telling you all that. But and you know that it's idol worship because we prove it in the Bible. We prove it with history and we prove all that. You know what I'm saying? But you still do it anyway. You will have to examine yourself at that point. You have to look at yourself and figure out what is wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if you know God doesn't approve of you celebrating Christmas and you do it anyway, at that point, you have to examine yourself. All right. So with that, man, we gotta stop doing what we've been doing. Salaki. With that, man, we got to stop doing what we've been doing. What we have to do now is change. Get in the I.S.U.P.K. That's where the change starts. You come up in here, you do your 90 days. You understand? Receive your Hebrew name. Come in here wearing all black, first of all. If you're a brother, come in here, start coming to classes for 90 days. You understand? Wearing all black, boot, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. You know what I mean? You do that, start coming to class, and you start shedding yourself of the world. That's what we like to call it. That's Bedrock UPK and what we say. You know what I'm saying? Where we say we shed ourselves of the world. We taking layers of the world off of us. What we learned outside the I.S.U.P.K, we taking all those layers off. You know what I'm saying? And changing to become brand new, to become a brand new person. All right. So, you know what I mean? With that only happens coming into the classes, coming into the classes in person. You understand? That comes with that. Online, watching online is cool too, but the real change is when you come around brothers, like-minded brothers. and you do the change, you know what I'm saying, and you come in here and you be genuine with it, become you know, a trooper, get your Hebrew name, and then you off to the races from there. You know what I'm saying? So with that, man, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. You know what I mean? Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm Officer Mathumyad, about to check out, you know what I mean? We the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started 1 West on the 25th Street, Hall, New York, under commanding during YAHANNA. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969. Truth being that the Blacks, Latinos, and the Native American Indians are the real Israelites of the Bible, and that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, with that, man, I'm gonna let y'all go. Like always, man, we here at the UN Library every Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to come through? You know what I mean? By all means, y'all come through. Hit me up, contact me. You know what I mean? It's all good. All right, so with that, man, I'm gonna salute y'all out. Shalom. See y'all next Tuesday.